You know, dental education is at this huge turning point. Seriously, the old way of doing things, textbooks, manual drills, it's giving way to a future that's packed with AI, with robotics, and even virtual patients. So today we're going to break down this massive shift and what it really means for the future of dentistry.
I mean, just think about it for a second. The world of dentistry is changing at an absolutely incredible speed. But here's the real question. Is the education that trains our dentists actually keeping up? That's the gap we're going to explore today. The one between the high-tech clinic of tomorrow and, well, the traditional classroom of yesterday. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. For decades, the whole system has been built around assessments like multiple choice questions. And what does that do? It basically encourages students to cram facts for an exam, to keep knowledge in little boxes, instead of learning how to connect the dots and apply it to a real, complex human being. At the end of the day, you're testing memory, not true competence.
Okay, so if we're going to build the future, first we have to understand what parts of the old blueprint just aren't cutting it anymore. Let's take a look at the stuff in traditional dental education that's quickly becoming obsolete.
This slide really lays out the disconnect perfectly. On one side, you've got the old model, right? All about manual dexterity and separate siloed subjects. But modern dentistry, it demands something completely different. It needs digital fluency, knowing your way around scanners, software, AI, and the ability to manage patients who have really complex, interconnected health problems. The focus is shifting from just the procedure to the entire patient.
And make no mistake, the stakes here are incredibly high. This isn't just some academic debate. The research is clear. That old treatment-focused model, on a global scale, just hasn't worked. It's failed to deal with the huge inequalities in access to care and the rising tide of oral diseases that are frankly preventable. So a fundamental change isn't just an upgrade, it's an absolute necessity.
So that brings us to the big question. What's pushing this evolution? Why is this conversation happening with so much urgency right now? Let's dig into the key forces that are compelling dental education to change, and to change fast.
Well, first and foremost, you've got the digital revolution. It's a game changer. Technologies like intraoral scanning, CAD/CAM design, and 3D printing are completely rewriting the rulebook. And to be clear, these aren't just faster ways to do the old stuff. No, they represent a whole new workflow, a new way of thinking, planning, and treating with a level of precision that was just impossible before. And this leads to the next huge leap forward, the digital virtual patient. Think about it. By combining facial scans, x-rays, and intraoral images, dentists can create a complete digital twin of their patient. This lets them simulate surgeries, design crowns, and predict outcomes all in a virtual space. It's an incredible way to boost precision and slash the chances of error when it's time for the real thing. Another huge driver? Demographics. People are living longer, and they're keeping their teeth longer. This stat here shows the result. A DMFT score, that's basically a tally of decayed, missing, or filled teeth, of nearly 18 for older adults in Germany. What that really means is that the average senior has a complex dental history, and caring for them requires a deep understanding of geriatric care and how their oral health connects to their overall health. And finally, there's a growing awareness of our environmental impact. It's becoming a huge deal. Sustainable dentistry is now a critical part of modern healthcare. Future dentists need to be trained not only to care for their patients, but also to be responsible stewards of our resources, figuring out how to minimize waste and reduce the environmental footprint of their practice. So, we've pretty much established the why. Now let's get into the what. What are the specific new skills, the new mindsets, that the dentist of the future absolutely has to possess to meet all these new challenges?
The new skill set is so much broader than it used to be. I mean, digital literacy is a given, that's non-negotiable. But beyond that, the focus is really shifting to more human-centered skills, things like managing patients with special needs, communicating effectively in a team, and really understanding the ethics behind new tools like AI. The big takeaway here is the shift from just fixing problems to managing a person's overall health, and that requires a commitment to learning for your entire career.
Oh, this pair of images just captures the new reality perfectly. On the left, you see a 3D printed surgical model, all meticulously planned out in a digital world. And on the right, that's the result, in a real surgery. This is that direct, tangible link between being digitally competent and getting superior patient outcomes. It's all about planning with digital precision and then executing with surgical confidence.
And as AI gets woven into everything, from diagnosis to treatment planning, ethics becomes a core skill. Future dentists have to be trained to ask those tough questions. Things like, how do we know this AI's recommendation is fair and not biased? Is my patient's data secure? And when it comes down to it, who's responsible for the outcome? Is it me, the dentist, or is it the algorithm?
So, with all of this in mind, how do we actually build this curriculum for the future? Let's take a look at the practical roadmap, the blueprint for how to put it all together.
Now, I know this might look complicated, but this is the new reality. A modern curriculum isn't just a simple list of courses anymore. It's an interconnected map. Every one of these threads you see links a specific skill, say professionalism, to a bigger outcome like oral health. This approach creates a complete, holistic view of a student's journey, making sure everything is integrated and nothing falls through the cracks.
And the process for creating a map like this can actually be broken down into clear, manageable steps. It all starts with defining what a graduate needs to be able to do. From there, you pick the teaching methods and the tests that actually support those goals. Then, after you implement it, it becomes a continuous cycle of evaluating and refining. This is not a one-and-done fix. It's a living, breathing process.
It all boils down to this core educational principle called constructive alignment. And it's a really simple but powerful idea. What you teach, how you teach it, and how you test it, they all have to be directly linked. So if your goal is for a student to be proficient in a digital workflow, then you teach them and you test them on that workflow. You don't give them a multiple choice test about it.
And let's never, ever forget the ultimate why behind all of this. All these reforms, the tech, the new skills, the curriculum maps, it all leads back to this one thing. The goal is to produce graduates who can deliver a higher quality of care that is safer, more effective, more efficient, and truly, genuinely centered on the patient. That's the finish line.
So we're left with this question to think about. In the next decade or so, what will be the single most important skill for a dentist? Is it going to be mastering some specific piece of tech that might be obsolete in 5 years? Or is it going to be something more fundamental? Something like the ability to adapt, to learn, and to critically evaluate whatever comes next? That, I think, is the real question.